Hi everyone, Carol here at Oak House Journals, and I want to do a little bit of journaling in my Raining Woods journal today. I'm really enjoying doing this. So I've lifted out a few things to play with. I've lifted out some of these gorgeous labels. They're large ones. As you can see, they're all different. Let me pull them out for you and do this properly. They're all different designs, quite thin paper, but that doesn't matter. So I thought I would play with a couple of these, and I actually have prepped a little bit today because I wanted to see if I could be organised and do something slightly more professional today. So I also have some other bits here. I have this gorgeous little tag which actually is impregnated with seeds, because it says plant this paper to watch flowers grow. So really that should be popped in the garden, but I love the colours of it and I wanted to include those. This is a piece of just a single piece of note paper that I was given, and it had this lovely border round it, so I've just roughly torn round that. I've got vellum. Nothing would be complete without vellum and some script, would it, in my journals? I've got my favourite little washi tape, and believe you me, I've got loads of washi tape, but I always seem to come back to my favourite few, and this little one is one of my favourites, as you know. And then this was a piece of handmade paper that has been made into a calendar, and it's got these lovely little dots, which I think they're probably paper, but they've been I don't know, mixed in with the paper when it was made. So some of them are really deep into the paper pulp, and some of them are closer to the surface, and where they're closer to the surface you can actually see the colours. So really nice paper, and again just a single piece that I had. So I've roughly torn it and I'm going to pop that on my page. We're now on to, we've done all these pages here, so we've done all the lighter pages, so now we're on to this wodge of, let me lift that out, darker green paper here. So I'm going to make a start. So I actually thought that what I would like to do is put that on there and have that like so that I'm just picking up a little bit of the edge here. So that was my plan for that. And then I thought with this piece of vellum that again was just in my stash, I would have that there like so, and then this lovely little tag, I thought that I would use an eyelet and put it at the top. So that's what I'm aiming for today. So I'm just going to glue those pieces in place, and actually I think that I might need to just make sure that everything is lined up as best I can before I start my gluing. So I've got my art glitter glue here to one side, all ready to go, and I'm just going to do my usual trick, which is to put a bead on my first piece, and then it holds it in place. And then I know that I want this piece next. So I'm just popping a bead of glue down there to hold that in place. And now I know that I can do whatever I like because it's not going to move anywhere. So I can put lots and lots of glue everywhere else, and it's all lined up where I want it to be. And underneath my vellum. And I can go mad with that for a change because that's not going to show. And then this is my top piece. So I've got a nice little amount of glue under that. There we go. I'm just going to pop whoops-a-daisy, just going to pop a little bit more under that vellum, just there. I quite like applying my glue like this because it still leaves me with edges that aren't completely glued down. The main body is glued down, but not the edges, and I quite like that fluid look, if you will. So we were going to go with that tag up there, but I'm not going to put that in place just yet because I want to work with these labels. Now let me show you what I've done with these labels. I have, as I say, done a little bit of prepping here. I have taken one of the labels like so. Let's just lift all these bits out of the way, and using my X-Acto knife, I have cut away following that inside line all the way around my label, and it's given me a frame like that. And as you can see, I've chopped along that inside line, but where I've got to the corners, I've gone across at a slight angle. So if I pop that in there, you can probably see what I mean. It goes across at an angle. Now these are my insert pieces. I did that twice. As you can see, I've got 2 frames here, and I'll show you why I've done 2. But these are my insert pieces, and I'm keeping these because these will come in useful for something else. But I wanted to cut 2 frames because, as I say, the labels are quite thin, and what I want to do is I want to back them. I want to glue them back to back and make them a little bit sturdier. Okay, so for the inside, I've got a piece of vellum here, and it was just a piece of packaging like this. I was actually going to use this piece of packaging, but it wasn't quite wide enough for the aperture there. So I used another piece, and I've just roughly chopped it so that it is bigger than my frame, and I'll show you why in just one moment. So that's what I wanted to do there. And I've been playing in my garden for a wee while, and I love hydrangeas, and I've been pressing some of my hydrangeas in this book. But whilst these are a lovely colour, they're not quite right for what I want to do in this little journal. Now I have a few more in here. I have these 2, which are more of a bluey colour, and I have these, which are more of a greeny colour. Now, what I want to do, I think, is use this one because I love the colour. So I'm lifting that one out, and I'm going to do my very best to try and trap it between that acetate. And I'm just going to get rid of that little tail off the back there. And what I'm going to try and do is very carefully trap it inside this acetate and see how it goes. So there we go there. It's not really the best background to work on, so I think what I might do, everybody, is whoops-a-daisy, is just see if I can get it to work better. Yeah, on that background. So let's start that again and get that in the acetate where I want it to go, like so. And that's I've got some bits on my mat here. So I'm thinking I want to try and get it centralised towards the bottom, like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny tiny little dab. Is that the, I'm just saying. Oh, look at that colour on the back, isn't that lovely? Not quite as dark as the other one, but it's this colour that I'm after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put a tiny, tiny dab of glue, or maybe a couple of little tiny dabs of glue on the back here, and see if that will hold it in place. Now I know with art glitter glue, it dries clear, so that should hold my flower in place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my frame over the top like so, and as you can see, it only just fits in there, but I think I'm okay with that, like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back in that board, and I'm going to flip this over and put a smidgen of art glitter glue all the way around. I'm trying not to put too much on here because I don't want it to squidge out when I put it on my acetate. Whoops, let's get that little. I just want it to hold my frame in place without squidging out and marking the acetate. But I think I've got a good little covering there. So let's bring back that acetate, and very carefully, if I can, position this over the top where I want it to go. Oops-a-daisy. A little bit over to one side, but I think that's okay. Like so. Oops. And true to form, that wasn't quite stuck in place, was it? And it's moved. Oops. Doesn't want to. It's not sticking, is it, on the back there? Let's try that again. See if we can position that and get it. I think it's that little bit of stem that's causing the issue there, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think, okay. What I'm going to do now is I need to run a bead of glue, just very gently, between the two layers of acetate. And a little bit more down this side. And very, very gently just smooth it away from the aperture. Now it doesn't matter, whoops-a-daisy, and that's not worked down in that bottom corner. It doesn't matter if it smears out from the outside edge of the frame, but I don't want it to go inside, and actually I haven't done that very well. As you can see, I've got some on the inside of my frame there, so I'm going to see if I can do anything about that quickly before it decides it wants to set. Well, we'll see about that and see if I can do something about that at a later stage. Let's just have a little bit of a play with that before it sets too much. I've obviously used a bit too much glue, but if I can encourage it to go back underneath, that would be awesome. So a little bit of playing here, I'm afraid, but I'm just human. It always looks so easy when somebody else is doing it, doesn't it? Not when you come to do it yourself, but it seems to be going back quite nicely underneath the frame. So it's being very obliging at the moment, thank goodness. I thought I'd been very, very careful with the amount of glue I'd put on the frame between the acetate, but obviously I wasn't careful enough. And I'm just going to have to gently work that still to encourage it away from the inside of the frame. So I'm just kind of working it all the way round, trying to encourage it, as I say, to go away. Whoops, catching the tweezers on my sweater as I go. Just and not really happy with that. It seemed to be working, but as it's drying, I'm getting some lines there. Let's see if I can encourage it a little bit more. If you don't mind bearing with me, everybody. Here we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not perfect, but not too bad. Certainly better than it was. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to very carefully cut away my frame. Now I don't know whether to put this one on the back first and then cut it away, or cut it away first. I think what I will do is I think I'll cut it away first. Okay, here we go. So very gently, this might be a little bit fiddly, but we'll see how it goes. I can always trim it down again when the main frame, the backing frame is on, if I don't get it close enough. So again, if you can just bear with me whilst I go round, just trimming it down. I'm just trying to use the side of my label as my guide, but as I said, the labels are not very thick, which is wonderful, but they're not, because they are so delicate, it's not really giving me a good edge to guide my scissors, so I'm having to just very gently feel my way as I go, and I'm just going to trim this at the top just a little bit more. Okay, so let's pop these pieces to one side and just see if we can have another little play with that glue because it's still between the acetate, it's still not dry yet. Okay, so I'm just going to try again with the glue and see if I can be less heavy-handed with the glue this time, and just get the merest touch. It's a little bit difficult because the camera is low. I kind of need to be over the top to see how much glue I'm putting on. And oops, it's not the best angle to be at when I'm trying to get some glue on here. Okay, so let's try this once more. And if I marry up that top corner like so, a little bit tricky, and that one, and this bottom one down here, then it should all marry up nicely together, like so. So there's my little frame. Not 100% perfect, but she's going to have to do, I'm afraid. Just going to play with that glue a little bit more, like so. There we go. And I'm just going to trim this top just a little bit more. See if I can get that better edge. Now that glue definitely isn't dry between the acetate at all yet. It's amazing because it's still trying to squidge out naughty glue. But nothing we can do about that now. Okay, so that is my frame. So what I thought I would do, I would pop it over the top of that, like so, on my page, and hold it in place with my washi tape. So if I get a nice generous piece of washi tape and pull that down towards me so I can see a little bit better where that needs to be. Thought that I would just secure it in place like that to my page. So that it sits on there like so. And then I thought my tag could go up there, and I'm just going to grab my crocodile because what I need to do, and I'm just going to pop a smidgen of glue across the top so that she's in place where I want her to be on my page. Like so. Just check that that's level, because I have a real propensity to get things skew with. And punch my hole. Just putting the lid on my glue before it dries out. And again, I'm going for gunmetal because I like that colour, and I think it goes best with the the text on my my piece of notelet. So do this. I've lost my washer now. Lost my washer. There we go. A little bit fiddly because it's in the book, but I think I can do it. It's more fiddly when you use these washers, I think. Okay, there we go. There, I'm liking that. I really wanted to use that tag because it's the same shades as down here. I feel like I want to have something there. Not quite sure what. So, you know me, I'm looking at these again, aren't I? Probably not today. Probably not, even though I've got some here of these circles underneath. Probably not. What can I put there? Okay, I do have a page of Oriental text in my... Oh, I know what I could use. I could use a stamp. Bear with me, everybody. Bear with me. I'm just going to grab my stamp and my ink pad. And have a little play with a stamp. Back to this little one again. I love this little stamp. I use it quite a bit. And let me just get it out of its container. And find a little bit. As you can see, I've been playing with stamps earlier on today. And let's orientate this round the right way. Yeah. And I think I'm just going to do that. There we go. Okay, I'm going to call it done for today because I'm trying to do this less is more business. So I am going to stop there, everybody. I hope you like what I've done. I'm so sorry I took so much time faffing around with the glue there, but I really wanted to make sure I could get rid of it on the acetate. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with that page. I'm not going to put any thread in the top, I don't think. But we shall see. We shall see. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me play with this page, and take care. Love you all. Bye bye now.